Then the odd jab, keep the jab going, keeping them at range. Jab, jab, good. Give it out, and boom. Nice. Hiya, my name's Glenn Holmes. I'm the co-owner of the Box and Burn Academy, the world's #1 boxing fitness education course. I'm also the founding trainer here at Box and Burn in Los Angeles. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is all about realistic mitt work. So what does that mean? Okay, well, if we think about an actual fight, what actually happens in a fight? Are people landing 6, 7 punch combinations? No, they're mostly trying to find the jab, trying to find the power shots, land shots where there's gaps. They're moving all the time. They're feinting all the time. So if you just kind of picture a fight scenario, that's what you should be trying to create if you're trying to do a realistic mitt work session. So in this video, I'm just going to give you a couple of things that you can think about and use when you want to keep your mitt work sessions as realistic and as fight specific as possible. So first thing I like to think about with realistic mitt work, the basic defense of just if we were starting off in a fight and it's round 1, we're going to try and establish the jab. That's 9 times out of 10 what boxers are trying to do as soon as that first bell goes. So if I'm trying to keep it realistic, what I want my boxer to do is just kind of keep that jab hand away from them a little bit and just try and parry that jab with the backhand. So if we think of a realistic fight scenario, one thing that I like to do, if you think of the first bell's gone, boxers are trying to kind of establish that range and get the jab going. So a good one to start off with when you're trying to keep your mitt work realistic is just parrying the jab and just creating that kind of natural instinct to just watch and feel the jab and just let it come and travel, right? And then we can start working on countering it from there. So as soon as the first bell goes, you'll see a lot of fights. They're kind of waiting, they're kind of feinting the jab and trying to establish that jab and range. So just creating that habit of just deflecting that jab with that backhand and parrying it is a good one to start off with. So if we're just doing a mitt work session, round 1, we can move around, kind of keep it realistic, kind of feel like you're the opponent for your boxer and he's going to flick that jab out. Keep it realistic when you throw the jab too. Throw it straight at the face, make sure they can parry it. Good. It doesn't have to be super intense. Once they feel comfortable with that, then I can throw it a little bit more snappy. Boom, boom. Good. And make sure she's getting that reflex. Once she feels comfortable with that, then we can start trying to counter it. So as soon as she's caught that jab, I can just hold that right mitt out and she can just counter with the jab herself too. So staying alive, moving around a little bit. As soon as she's parried the jab, just have that mitt ready. There. And we're just working on deflecting the jab, countering the jab, catch, counter. Good. Moving. Think about where you are in the ring as well. Always keep it realistic. If my back's on the ropes like this, I'm probably going to throw a jab, boom, boom, and then there. Then I'm going to move out. Then she's going to work on cutting the ring down a little bit. That's it, good. And then, good. I'm not going to tell her when I'm going to do it. We're trying to keep this realistic as possible. So just try and feint her a little bit. Good. And again. Good. So there's one technique you can use, usually at the start of the session, to try and keep it nice and realistic and just get those basic foundational movements down, the catch and counter, and just deflect, parrying the jab and countering with the jab. So another thing to think about with realistic mitt work is movement. You see a lot of mitt work that's just in place right here and no one's doing any movement and it's just, you know, on the spot stuff. So with this one, we're trying to keep it realistic. So what I like to do is really make my boxer move and always be thinking about keeping those feet alive. And actually I try and catch them off balance and out of position with the feet too. So a technique for this is I might give her a 1-2, say, like a realistic combination, and then I'll just step in like that to make her move, and then I'll step back out to come in, and then I'll just keep feinting her with the feet so she's alive. And then as soon as I throw them up, I can just call for a simple combo like a 1-2. So I'm moving. Good. Now what I'm trying to do here is make her move, keep those reactions in the feet. There. So she's always ready and on balance to throw a punch. Thinking about where she is in the ring, moving. Good. Feet. Go. Get out. Good. Just making her move. And for a coach, it's real simple. All you got to do is catch a 1-2. But all I'm really doing, kind of mimicking an opponent sometimes. Other times I might just walk like this. Just get her to move. And then feint. Keep it realistic. And then just throw the mitts up out of nowhere, right? Don't tell her that you want the punch. Just let her react. Good. Because we're trying to keep it realistic. In a fight scenario, she might just have to react with punches. Boom, boom, throw the 1-2. React with the feet. Get back in, pressure. Pivot out. You know what I mean? So all those different kinds of movements, we're not prompting them or cueing them. We're just doing them as instinct and reaction. And I think that's one of the biggest keys and things you can think of when you're trying to keep your mitt work realistic, is just create reactions. Whether it's in the feet, whether it's in the hands, or the head movement, whatever it is you're working on, develop reactions. And that's the one thing that I really want to get across with this video, is if you're doing realistic, develop reactions. And the final point on this, you want to try and keep your combinations and your punches short and simple as possible. In a fight scenario, I mentioned at the start of this video, you rarely see in a fight anyone landing 6, 7, 8 fancy punches and long combinations on their opponents. Most of the time it's 1s, 2s, sometimes 3s, right? So if we bear that in mind, when we're catching punches in a realistic mitt work situation, it's just as simple as maybe a jab and then maybe an uppercut. Just simple punches, keep them honest on defense in between. Hook, bam, good. Just one punch at a time, move around a little bit so they have to be on balance. And then wherever they're going, think of what a realistic punch would be. So if she steps over to her right, she's setting that right, boom, there. If I come in close, you might throw an uppercut. Boom, good, you know? And then off that uppercut, it might be able to set up a body shot. So we're in tight for a second. Boom, boom, yep, and then right back out to defense again, you know? And the odd jab, keep the jab going, keeping them at range. Jab, jab, good. Cross, good. Pivot out, good. Keep them honest on defense. So you see, I'm just giving 1, 2s at a time. Not long combinations, keeping it real simple and making sure she's switched on for anything at all times, and keeping that footwork going, keeping the defense honest in between all the punches. But yeah, real simple, single punches, 2s and 3s max, okay? So yeah, there's just some tips there for you to keep your mitt work realistic, a little bit more fight specific. If you've got boxers who are aspiring to have a fight, that kind of stuff. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on complex combinations and complex mitt work versus the more realistic fight scenario, the more basic stuff. Leave them in the comments below. Speaking of punching, throw an uppercut on that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel and like this video, share it with your friends. Love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching.